Yo, what's up everybody? How are you doing today? I hope you all had a great week and everything is positive, everything is smiley, everything is happy. We gotta go do the best out of it, you know that. Tonight, I have a very special guest. I'm really excited. Hopefully everything works out. I'll try to reach him. He replied right now, super professional. So let me see if I can get him on for you tonight. Let me see who is there line for me. This is, by the way, Diplo in the background. Okay. Yo!
Loco Dice.
What's up, my brother?
Man, you're playing the throwbacks, bro.
Oh, man, I wanted to play more, but somehow I came too late.
How do you even know those songs?
You know I know your jams.
That's like deep. That's like 15 years ago. Like,
okay, wait a minute. Then look at this one here. This is ooh. This is
oh yeah, that's really deep. Bro, nobody knows these songs. Nobody knows these songs. Nobody knows these songs.
No, nobody knows these songs, but that's why we're doing this kind of show, to show the people these songs. And later I'm going to put them all in my Spotify playlist so everybody knows that these songs are existing. I don't think
I even heard those on Spotify. I don't know if they're even on Spotify.
Oh, well, I found them.
Oh, that's deep, bro.
The good ones, the really good ones, the really deep ones, you can't find them on Spotify.
Nah, like the vinyl only ones.
Those white labels and those ones you never released.
Yeah, the bootlegs and the white labels.
Let me introduce you very quick for my people, everybody who's watching right now. I would like to introduce our guest for tonight's show. I wrote a little thing about you. It's a copy-paste, but in my style. Diplo, a.k.a. Thomas Wesley, a.k.a. Diplodicus. I hope I said it right. One half of Major Lazer, LSD, Silk City, Jack Hugh, and Holotronics. It all started somewhere around 97 as he became a DJ at a local radio station, WPRK. He spent the majority of his youth in Miami, where he got a taste for the characteristic Miami bass. He stays in love with subgenres such as Miami bass, dancehall, baile funky. He sang a song in the Bollywood movie. Then he thought, let's have a collaboration with country artists. He was an English teacher in Japan and a school teacher in Philly. Since then, Diplo worked on production mixtape project with many other artists such as, okay, hold yourself, Madonna, Shakira, Beyonce, No Doubt, Justin Bieber, Usher, Gwen Stefani, Dionne Warwick, Britney Spears, Bad Bunny, Snoop Dogg, and the list doesn't stop. He just performed a Major Lazer set at Fortnite. He's a DJ, singer, actor, director, producer, and owner of the label Mad Decent Record, and he also got his own show, The Thomas Wesley Show. Straight out of LA in his car, please welcome Grammy and double platinum artist Diplo.
Live from the car. Bro, I might have to take a nap after that intro. That intro was so crazy and long. I was like, well, I don't even know.
That's your fault. You're doing too much.
I'm definitely doing too much. In quarantine, you know what? It's crazy. I think I'm working harder during quarantine than I was when I was traveling, man.
Yeah, because your brain is free.
Yeah. You always, I think you also, when it comes to this time we're in, really your mind needs to stay alert and busy to like stay positive. You know what I'm saying? The more you dwell, the more you sit around. Honestly, it's just the more you can have negative energy. You got to keep the vibrations high, man.
Oh yeah, you got to stay positive. The thing is as well, I mean, in your life, it's getting way faster than in my life. There's so much projects that you are doing, and like the list didn't stop. You so many things. So I can imagine that it's hard to enjoy those amazing moments sometimes, even though you're enjoying them. But you would you would love to have a week to sit there and say, that gig or that kind of project was just amazing.
You know what it's like? Even when you're on tour, you never, in like, you go from the crazy show and you get booked and you don't even know what's going to happen, do the next show, and then you don't even get time to reflect on it. You go on to the next city. It's literally like you can't even spend time to say like, oh wow, that was crazy. You can't sit back and be like, oh wow, I just did a show in Islamabad or whatever, because the next day you got to go to somewhere else. And I think, you know, the same thing on tour. You never get to sit back sometimes because the pace is so fast, man.
Oh yeah,
it's so fast. And now that I'm off tour, I like don't even know if I'm ever gonna do it again. I finally felt like the energy just rolls and rolls and rolls, and nobody believes me. I say like, oh, I kind of like this life, which, you know, I love the adrenaline of shows and touring. But when you sit back, finally, you're like, fuck, man, you can actually kind of dwell and like think. Yeah, you said your mind works. Your mind works better.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Also, I think this is what it is. I don't have FOMO either because no one's doing any shows. So I'm like, I feel like I'm doing just enough. But when people start doing shows again, I feel like I might have to have some self-control.
You're missing something. Yeah, you're missing something. That's true. It's like, because the world is standing still. Everything around you is standing still in a way of not touring. And you're not missing anything. I'm enjoying it amazingly. A lot of people are like in panic, and I don't know. I'm happy. It's the amazing holiday, and I know it's gonna be over at one point. We're gonna go to the clubs. There is no clubs anymore.
Yeah. Even at this point, even if you're moving just slowly, like moving at all feels good right now. You know, when it used to be like you have to go 100 miles an hour, but going 1 mile an hour is enough right now.
Oh,
that makes you moving.
That's the whole thing. So how was your week so far? What did you do? I mean, I've seen you did with your partner some crazy live things, and I don't know.
I mean, trying to build the live thing at the beginning, I was like, it's all about consistency, you know? And it's not about like how many views you get and what you do. It's all about just doing it. And I think a lot of DJs, I talk to them, like younger guys are like, man, I want to get paid for my streams, and like I don't feel like doing this. And I'm like, bro, you're a DJ. Like what you do is DJ, right? Like that's what you're actually good at. You're a producer. And for all of us that make club music, and I make a lot of like house music now, as you know, and I know you're like basically the legend that I've looked up for you since day one. But it's hard for our music to reach anybody now because people aren't driving and people aren't going to clubs. So the only thing we can really do is play it ourselves, or, you know, any way for the distribution chain to happen is important right now. So if you do love music, I think you just got to go out there and give it to people, and don't worry about the audience, don't worry about the eyeballs, don't worry about the money. It's just all about the music at the moment, which is really good. You know?
It is always actually about the music. I mean, you of course, there's a big business around us that we have to keep because we got people, employees, and all that stuff that we build up from day one. But it's always about the music. And when we go in the studio on the dance floor, we're having fun. We're normal people, nothing else. Nothing is different to the people who's dancing or listening to us. And right now I think, which is great, the people, it's like us, you know, your reception to music is much greater, much better, you know. You're not like waiting just for the next bang or the next break or whatever it is. You listen different to the music because you're at home, you know. And
even when you DJ, you know, as a DJ, I go between, you know, Vegas, where I've seen you there, and I go between like playing deeper house parties, and I go to even like more commercial sponsored parties. And you always got to read a crowd. A good DJ knows how to, like, which direction to go. You know how far you can take it, and you read a crowd, and the energy gives it back to you. When you're streaming at home, you don't get that, you know, but you get to do whatever the fuck you want. And then you can go crazy directions. And honestly, you're going to reach more people that way because they're going to be like, oh, I never, you know, they want track listings. They don't want to hear the same songs. And I'm going, like, sometimes I go on, like, a Friday night, I'm going so crazy with the selections and the mashups and stuff, like records I would never play. And I think that people value that, you know, they can see that. That's like, you got to take that from it, you know, because you don't get the reception, you don't get the energy from the audience, but you actually get to give them something pure from you.
True fans are true friends, you know. But I think it's really hard for you, you know, like your repertoire is so huge, you know. You've been playing a hip hop set. You come from hip hop. You've been playing then a more EDM or commercial set when you have a big crowd in front of you. But then on the same time you play a reggae dub set, you know. Is it not crazy sometimes for new people who come and they explore Diplo and they don't know who really Diplo is, you know? It's really hard or not?
For new fans, I must be the most confusing person to be a fan of there is. And I think a lot of people might scratch surface. Like now I'm learning a lot of country music because I'm not afraid to fail. I just want to try everything. Why else are we here? You know, why else are we here? I'm like everybody from like Herbie Hancock to, you know, David Bowie, even James Brown to like the Clash. Like every time they had a chance to do something and mutate, they took it. That's always what happens with dance music or anything you do. Music moves forward when we fuse it with things that are different and we mutate it. That's why it's always been like that for us. I know you're a hip hop DJ too. And if I didn't start with hip hop, I would never love house music, you know, because I started with the New York scene and I started with Baltimore and Philly where they were sampling records and flipping things crazy. And I was always like, damn, there's so much hip hop because I'm obsessed with creation hip hop. I grew up with, you know, the golden era, and the producers that taught me were like, you know, Premier and Dre and, you know, Pete Rock. And I loved what they did to create something out of nothing. And I was like, wait, are you going to sample like a grunge record? And you're going to sample like, what, you know, make a hip hop. It's like what they did was crazy. When I started getting really into house, it was the producers that were doing that aesthetic, like got me flipped. I mean, my favorite story is like, you know, Florian Schneider just passed away this week. And, he was one of the guys in Kraftwerk, and
I'm from Düsseldorf, bro. I grew up with Kraftwerk.
So a lot of people don't know the history, but I used to write for this magazine called The Fader. You know the magazine? Yeah,
The Fader, of course.
Yeah, and I did. Right. I was like my first job when I moved to Philly. Like my first real job was writing for The Fader, and I wrote a cover story for them about a hip hop group called a guy named Maceo. But then I did the story on Kraftwerk for their 10th anniversary of like Transgender Express, like their live show they were doing like 20 years ago, almost 15 years ago. And they put me on the phone with Florian, and I asked him, you know, questions and things like that. And I was really curious about his relationship with Africa Bambaataa. And I don't tell people the story often, but I was like, how did you meet? Like, what is it about, you know, your music that influenced these people that in the Bronx and in Detroit? And he's explained to me about Dusseldorf in Germany and how post-war there was like an industrial place that just looked like a machine. It felt like a machine, and people lived in like a machine. And he told me Detroit was the same thing, the same city, built by factories, built by people that worked in factories. So there was a connection there. And I would like think about that. Didn't make any sense, but then I thought about it more and more, and I see like, yeah, that's a city. A city can sound like something, right? And I pressed him more about Bambaataa, and he was like, I didn't know who this guy was, but I was hanging out with Malcolm McLaren once. And he's very German, and the accent's very like German. It's not very cool, right? And he's like, Malcolm McLaren took me to the Bronx and said, look, I got to show you this party. And they went to the Bronx, and he said he's the only white dude there. He's German. It's like this hood party in the basement with Malcolm McLaren. And he says the DJ is playing Metal on Metal, which is like a slow Kraftwerk record, kind of like Transgender Express, like 100 BPM. And he said he's in the club, and he's kind of uncomfortable, but he's like, man, this song was on for 20 minutes. And he's like, the song's only 4 minutes long. What the fuck is happening? So he goes up to the DJ and he sees Bambaataa going, back and forth with the song, and the song's creating a vibe. Like he's using, you know, Kraftwerk record, like a deep house record, just constantly moving. And then I was like, and that was that moment where like that's happening, that change of the world. Like these German guys in the Bronx with one of the, you know, genesis of hip hop. And like since then, I've always been like fascinated by the transverse of music, you know?
Oh, it is crazy, man. It's also what you said is very interesting at one point, that he was listening to his track in a completely different way, which made him like not shocked, but like excited, like what is this, you know? And this is the funny thing, like when you have live musicians in your studio, how difficult is it sometimes to explain them, play me this kind of bass line, and I'm trying to play like dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
And the outcome is actually not exactly what you want, but perfectly what you wanted, you know? And
that's what chemistry is. That's what it is.
It's amazing. My brother, so you are in sunny Killer, California, LA, I think. Are you? Yeah, okay. I can't see.
I pulled over for this interview because I was heading to my son's mom's house for the little Mother's Day breakfast.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. First of all, yes, I have
the mothers.
All the mothers. We love you all.
That's hard work, man. Oof. I mean, I bet your mother had a lot of work, bro.
Man, that's why from day one I started to respect a female, a mother, because what my mom had to do with me and how she raised me and that I'm healthy and here where I am, respect to that. 100%, man. What these females are doing out there, mothers or not mothers, is just, wow.
Man, the torture I put my mother through is crazy. When I think about it now and I have my children, I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're sweet. Like, amazing. The stuff I used to do, I used to break her heart like all the time, man. I just don't know how. Like, I was the last kid, and you know, my parents, they still didn't know really how I made money till like 5 years ago.
And
they told me, you know, yeah, because they were like, they just like, because you know, nobody in my family was creative. Like, nobody made music, nobody did art. You know, they're very like Southern, like, you know, we barely like had any money growing up, and they always thought to me like, you know, if you want to do something creative, you're just basically going to be homeless. You know, if you try to be like an artist, there's like a 1 in a million chance you can do that. And when you're growing up too, there's no DJs that are like adults, like the professionals. You know, you had people on the radio. When I grew up in Florida, like there was like radio DJs, but there wasn't ever like DJs I knew had a job.
It was a
I knew
different
people
time. The parents, they had no clue about
different.
Nothing. No
way
Instagram.
Different. I mean, look,
nothing.
I brought the vinyl today because that's all. I mean, I was
favorite thing.
I was digging. I was carrying. I remember when I was DJing 15 years ago, carrying all the diverse records I was playing, like hip hop, a little bit of techno, whatever I could. I had 3 crates of records, and I flew Value Jet and Ryanair, and those places you cost money by carrying bags on like that. So my records I brought on those airplanes, I would lose money on shows sometimes just by the amount of vinyl I had. But I didn't care. That's all I had. This was before. Then I finally got CD players. Like, oh fuck, you can put music on CDs. So I'm old school, man.
Proper old. Oh yeah, you old school. I know that, my brother. Hey, I want to know, what is your first favorite thing that you brought with you or you want to show us?
Well, I did it. You know, I live in LA, but I'm pretty transversal. I'm traveling a lot, and I have a small record collection in LA of things that I happen to bring home from Philadelphia when I lived there. All my stuff's still there. All my record collection. I'm like,
where, in LA or in Philly?
In Philadelphia. So all my shit's there. All my records. I never had, since I moved to LA 10 years ago, I never brought any records really. I had no reason to have them.
It's still at the mausoleum.
At the mausoleum, exactly. I still own it, and you know, they keep it in the storage for me, and I have like, one day I'll go there, but the record transporting is so hard. It's really heavy. You can't. It's like I have like to move 5,000 records, and I never did it. So every once in a while I would go there on trips, and I just grab some old vinyl. So I only have like 100 records at my house, but I just grabbed like 4. I actually grabbed 10 really quick when I left my house today, and I have like, I can just go through a couple quick because I just grabbed some.
Let's see.
All right, you want to start off?
Let's start. Let me see. What's your first favorite thing that you want to show us here?
All right.
And now.
I might go deeper than this, but okay. The first one's an easy one, right? This one is Speaker Box Love Below by Outkast. All right. Everything we talked about on here, from like Kraftwerk to Bambaataa to house music to country music, this album represents all that. It represents everything you could possibly do to push hip hop in a crazy direction. I mean, the number 1 song on there, Hey Ya, was basically a doo-wop record in like 6/8. You know, like it was like crazy that a rapper did it and went number 1. Like he run that, and at the same time, Big Boy did a record called Doom Doom Doom. What the fuck was that song called? He had number 1 too, so they had both different styles. He had a Miami Bass record called I Like the Way You Move. They both had number 1.
I like the way you move. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole album, and the concept, and I've been following Outkast since day one. I also love Stankonia, and Aquemini has one of my favorite songs ever, which is the reggae song, Spotty Yachty Dopalicious. So I've always followed them, and this record being, like, I think it went diamond. It went diamond, and in retrospect, a lot of young people should definitely kind of check this record out, because there's also drum and bass on the record. There's like crazy
these guys
shit.
were so open-minded. Do you remember back in the days, in their time when this album came out, don't forget that a lot of people were confused with that album as well, right in the beginning. It was also the way they were styling. I mean, look at them. They are like proper fashion way back in time, even there before any of these rappers. Look at the cover. You see it already.
The pearls.
Everything.
Paris. I mean, it was just like, for me, American culture mashed up perfectly. Everything on this record was epic. crazy, and they were hits. Like, you can always do weird shit.
All of them, yeah, all of them.
And love it, but to have it hits with it, that's like when you that's the legendary status. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, legendary man. Until now, Andre 3000 is like such an innovator. It's like crazy. He did this track with what's his name? Oh,
a new one?
Yeah, what's his name?
Frank Ocean?
Oh, no, with Blake's. What's his name? I forgot his name. Blake, James Blake.
Oh, James Blake. Yeah, James Blake a couple years ago.
How amazing is that track with the 4/4 beat at the end? Was like crazy, man.
I mean, the guy, and I read about that record, and he started learning all the instruments like really late in his life just because he loved the funk and he loved Southern music, and he like played bass, he played guitar, and he learned all these things himself, which makes me feel kind of good because I barely know how to play piano and guitar. I've been practicing a lot the last couple of years just to like get better at it. But the fact that someone like that can do that is like mind blowing. And also, Labyrinth, who I do LSD with, he's like older, he's like almost my age, but he told me he never started playing guitar till he was 25 and just like started playing. And he became like a virtuoso. So anybody out there, it's never too late.
It's in your blood, bro. It's deep inside you. Some people don't know how much talent they have, and everybody should just try it out. It's like, I'm doing a lot of stuff where I don't have a talent for, and still it works out somehow. Thanks God.
Yeah.
Because I got the talent.
My whole career has been like faking it till I make it, and sometimes I never even made it. I just been still faking it. So, but the attitude is always good. When it comes to music, no matter who you are, I can tell. Even if the music sucks, I can tell right away if you love it or not. Like if you live and die by the music and your attitude is positive, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be successful. I know a lot of people who don't love the music, but I love who they are and I love what they do. And I'm sure people say the same thing about me. But I just know my heart's in it.
This is the thing, and that's the thing. What you said. As long as it comes from the heart, it's real. No matter how fake it is.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
No matter how fake it is.
Music doesn't. Yeah, music doesn't. It really like it. Music is the purest form of communication. Like, you can critique it all you want and talk shit about it, but if it affects you, if it gives you that's pure. No matter what the style is, no matter what's cool, what's fashionable at the moment, what matters is how it makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? You don't disregard the thoughts and the prejudice about it.
That's the thing. But this can only people say who got the love inside their heart. Hate is not allowed, my friend. I don't care. There is no bad music. I always say there is just not my taste. I say
exactly. That's the thing. It's not bad music. Exactly. Respect everything.
Because there's always somebody who likes that.
100%.
So your 100%. Second favorite thing.
Next to it's all gonna be records though.
It's all no problem. I know you're traveling hard from LA to
this one. I found this in my house. I'm surprised I even have it still. It's Fela and Africa 70 Shakara, and I picked this out too because Florian Schneider died this week.
That's amazing. Now I know.
Yeah. So
there are two groups I know now who did this cover. Was it the Beatles and Kanye West?
Yeah, kinda. No, Beatles didn't do it. Didn't Jimi Hendrix do a cover like this? All the girls.
Jimi Hendrix all the time, yeah.
Yeah, he loves the naked girls. The guy was a beast. All right, so I picked this out because
tell me something about this.
Not only have I been playing a lot of like Afro house, Afro beat, and I've been trying to push this into the set a little bit, but his drummer Tony Allen also died this week. Who was like
too many people died this week, man. It's
yeah, it was a really crazy
let's not talk
week.
about this now.
But just to show a lot of people don't realize who that guy was, but he was influential. Of course, he kind of invented Afrobeat in Nigeria. Of course, Fela is the orchestrator,
of course.
The producer, but Tony Allen was like this crazy drummer that just the influence is so much on the rest of the world, on house music, everything. So,
what's the name of the album again?
Shakara. So that's a big song on it called Shakara. Yeah.
Shakara.
What is on it? It's only got two songs. It's only got Lady and Shakara on it.
Yeah, well,
the songs are 16 minutes long.
That's what I wanted to say. It's a live band, so it's like goes like for such a long. Oh, Tony Allen, man, great music.
And I picked this one out because I've been going to Nigeria a lot. The last couple of years, I go like once a year. I don't know if I ever go back now, but I go once a year because Major Lazer was doing like a lot of like Afro pop music, and I actually knew his son Femi, and he invited me once to the Shrine. And the Shrine is a venue in Nigeria, in Lagos, that Fela started as like a place for like kind of rebels and people that were against the Nigerian status quo at the time, because he was like a revolutionary. He had his own. He was like even like had his own country inside of Nigeria for a little minute. He was like just the quintessential punk, right? And he made his venue called the Shrine, and I got to go there and see a concert once, and I was like mind blown by it. And I've always told people that's probably one of the craziest live shows I've ever seen in my life. And his son still goes and puts his band on every Sunday, and it's just epic. And if you like house music, you like dance music,
this is
that. Got to experience that at one point.
One thing I always was so jealous about you. You always picked those interesting countries and cities, and you went there, you stayed there, you did something there. This was always like always, okay, this guy is traveling. How he got the time and the connection to go there and to do something crazy there? You know, I've been trying with my friend Yaya to go to Benin, and this for like 6 years.
It's hard. I went to Benin once, had a layover, and that place was like crazy. I was like, I had to leave. That place was like crazy place, man. I only had a layover, but that was one of the wildest places ever. But, you know, for me, we always go to South Africa as DJs and producers. There's like an open market there and a scene that works. But I was always like, I got to get out of South Africa. This place is kind of like, it feels kind of corny, right? Like sometimes with the scene like 10 years ago, I never got to mix with like what was happening there musically. I was playing for like all the white kids that do dance music, house music, which are amazing guys like Kyle Watts and local guys and you know, Black Coffee in Johannesburg. I didn't know him when I used to go there, but I always played like little raves, and they were dope. But I was always like, there was like so much more happening in South Africa, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn, and since I've been going there, I was like, you know, I'll do a workshop here, whatever I can, because I want to be like introduced to music, and I would do things like that. Like 10 years ago, my first time there, and then I met a girl who was from Kenya, and she's like, you know, we do like dance parties in Kenya, and you should come here one day. And I was always like, yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't ever go to Kenya. And then like 8 years ago, Major Lazer had a song called Boomaye. Kenyan. I think it was froze. It was the Kenyan. It was the theme song of the Kenyan soccer team, and the song was so big in Kenya that this girl brought me out there with Walshy Fire, Major Lazer guy, and he basically, like, we did a party in a treehouse for like 100 kids, and the floor, it was like a second floor, and the floor was starting to crack open, and we had to like stop the show and like put a barricade and like evacuate the club and then play again outside. It was like one of the most hectic shows ever. But the word got around. I was like, all these places are having parties now, like Uganda, and you know, I didn't make any money in these shows, but I was like, I got to go there. And then the last couple of years, Major Lazer had kind of like some hits in these countries, especially Nigeria, especially Kenya, Malawi, and I just started doing touring, and I did it. It's been like 6 years going to Africa, these unique markets. In the last 2 years I've been going, we've been doing like these big shows, and like in Kenya and Uganda, we played like Independence Day, and like, you know, with Themba played in Kenya. It's like a really mashup of like different DJs and people that are doing it, like DJ Jeff from Angola, and it's just been like, go there. Yeah, it's been, for me, it's been the most, before this whole quarantine, it was like the place that it was happening the most, especially for house music all over East Africa and like West Africa. It became very, very heavy, man. I love that. It's getting popular. I mean, I remember back in the days when it all started, back in the day, a long time ago, when it started all in South America and Latin America and everything, and how huge the scene is there now. Techno, electronic music, EDM, you name it. I think South America is like the hot spot now. We're all Not only now. All right, hold on. I gotta grab these strawberries real quick. Let me get this. I'll hold them right here. Strawberries. Yeah, we're doing a pickup real quick. Oh. It's like my drug dealer. I buy strawberries like black market now. Wow. Thank you. Fish in here? All right. Got the fish too. It's crazy. Oh, hell yeah. All right. Strawberries, fish, everything. This is the moment normally I interrupt my guests and I do something special like an exercise of the day. But you sitting healthy in your car with strawberries, and I know how healthy you are and what crazy moves.
Hey, one question. Is it really you who jumps always from the rocks?
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's like the only thing. I can't do that many good jumps, but if I get a chance to jump off anything, I will do it.
You
I
don't
love
think
it.
you just jump?
Well, if you do it, I always think in my mind, for some reason, I can do a backflip better than a front, like going frontwards, because I always feel like I'm protected somehow by I know the timing of a backflip, so I'm really good at backflip. I don't know why, but I just can backflip off of rocks. I don't know what it is.
Can't do not a backflip, not a front. I can do a front kick.
The front flip or front kick?
A front kick. I'm good in a front kick.
I mean, during quarantine, I'm actually trying to learn how to do a standing backflip. I'm trying to learn that, and I'm old as hell. I'm like 41, so, but I think it's possible, and I have never had time to like learn it. But I'm gonna go to the beach today. Maybe I'll do some backflips. And I'll send it to you.
Do some backflips. Let's go to the third favorite thing that you have for me. Don't tell me it's a strawberry, please.
Yeah, maybe it's a strawberry song. Let's see what I got here. I mean, I'm gonna just put this one in because I love this song so much. It's only a song. I have a bunch of other records. I'll just stop with this one. This is Talking Heads. This Must Be the Place, Naive Melody, 12-inch. Nobody knows there's like a 12-inch version of this, but back to club music and back to like the 80s for me is the best time for music, hands down. Like the best songwriting.
So you were listening like to a lot of British music and
pop music? I think I really got into DJing honestly because I had this girlfriend who used to take me to this goth party in Orlando when I was like a high school kid. I was like a hip hop head. Loved hip hop, loved Wu-Tang. It was like I was like my Bible. Like I just like loved hip hop. I loved Miami bass. I loved Luke and I loved Uncle Al. And this girl was super hot though. She was like a little white girl with like pink hair, and she used to always invite me out to this party at this club called Cyber Zone. And it was a goth night. And I would go there like, okay, I'll go there because I like you, but I don't know about the music. And the biggest records there were like New Order, Blue Monday, and Love Cats by The Cure. And I started reading more about these producers, like, of course, Arthur Baker, who worked with Bambaataa on Planet Rock. And he produced these 80s, like, British bands and made, like, the 808s, like the Man Paris. He made those 808s on these new wave records. And I saw the hip-hop in that, too. And I was like, wow, this is heavy. Because I used to love, like, electro records. And I love that sound. So I was really big into, like, the 80s DJ, like that post-disco, like, 80s club music, freestyle. I love freestyle, like Debbie Deb, No Sarah, like Man Parish. I just love that music, and this is just one of the records from that world. Talking Heads, one of the first like kind of like good house club music. So.
Yeah, I was not so much. I knew this music, but I was a really like steer hip hop head. Hip hop. I didn't let anything inside me back and forth.
Yeah.
And then when I discovered house music, I was shocked how much house music records I had.
Yeah, it's true. You don't even realize it. But I think when it comes to the 80s, those 80s, like that was the influence of house and pop music was happening. I think I wouldn't have gotten into it. I wouldn't have gotten into it if I didn't know hip hop, though.
You remember those cheesy times, Stock Aitken and Waterman, those three producers who did like from Rick Ashley over Kylie Minogue and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up with that, listening to it in the radio. There was no other work, and all these hits and the three finger Joes, I call them. Every time I go to the studio, I'm so bad in doing a line, so I call them the three fingers. And those lines were huge back in the days, if it's still unlimited or whatever you call it.
For me, the 80s, just like the songwriting, even like Toto, like as I get older, I'm like, I only like play my kids that kind of music. In the car, like I put on an 80s playlist and they love those records because pop music just sucks nowadays. And a lot of kids actually get their music from TV shows and movies. And a lot of movies have like good 80s music and like R&B and stuff. So like I introduce my kids slowly to 80s music. And they love it, and I think they're really good at music. They're songwriters. They're like piano players. One plays the drums, so I think that's a good building block for young people to learn music. The chords are easy, the pop phrases are easy in 80s music, and the songwriting is just nice. Not like dark and crazy.
Are you into sports beside those crazy activities? You surf, you skate, you do the California sports?
I used to surf a lot growing up in Florida. The waves sucked. Like I would surf in Fort Lauderdale, then Daytona Beach. My parents moved, and I loved surfing. I never was good. I sucked. But as I got older, I was like always in these cool places like Bali or Thailand. I was like, man, let's go surfing. So I started up again like 10 years ago, and actually been surfing a lot since this happened, quarantine, because there's like, it's illegal to surf right now in LA. You can't go to the beach, but they don't bother you at night. So we've been surfing at night, and it's been crazy because there's been blue algae and blue plankton, and so the waves are crashing neon blue in LA right now, and it's only been happening for like a week, and it's like the craziest fucking experience. I've been surfing.
You should film that. Can you film that? Can you capture?
I don't. Well, I could do a GoPro. It's so dark, and it's a full moon now. But I'll send you a picture. I'm gonna post something today where you can see the waves behind me, but in the water, it's like hard with the. So I just want to surf. You want to stay away from the police or whatever too, but.
I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people. Beside that, they love your mustache. They've been asking. I mean, you did the live show at Fortnite. Are you a gamer? You always used to be a gamer, or you just started now?
I honestly don't like gaming that much. I can't. My mind doesn't really. I remember when Fortnite came out, I was obsessed with it because I would watch it. I'd be like, this is so amazing. It was like fun to play. And then if you don't stay on it, like if you're not playing every fucking day,
yeah, you lose it.
Yeah, like I was good for like a week, and then I'm competitive, and I was like, that's like me trying to go to the NBA right now. Like, you know, like just to try out for the team, playing Fortnite with these like 11-year-old kids who are just crushing it. Like it's embarrassing. It's like so hard. I want to play something I can win, and I can't win that.
Those games are over the Game Boy days where you play Super Mario.
The Game Boy, Kid Icarus, I would just crush the Game Boy. And, you know, I actually had like some mobile games like Simpsons or whatever, and I would spend like $100. I was like, what am I doing in my life? Like, get me out of here. But, I love what's happening with gaming culture. And I know from the beginning, I was like watching these streamers, and I'm like, I really studied like the way these guys were doing amazing stuff like Ninja and Tfue and these like streamers that were good at games, but they had great personalities and they built communities around what they do. And that's what I kind of took into the streaming world for what I do with DJing. And Fortnite, it's just good to be out there because I think like I said, a lot of my fans, you know, some of them have been with me since day one. They kind of see like, oh, Diplo's just kind of making music and I can follow it. I can't follow it, but I like what he's doing. But a lot of the Fortnite kids are like under 20, you know, they're like young people and they never have access to my music. So it's kind of cool to give them that.
Oh, for sure.
Major Lazer is like, it's 12 years old. I can't believe it. You know, we're old. We're old school now for like young people. So if I can get like new ears on our music, that's all that matters, you know, to cut through a little bit. So
you gotta always bring back what you did. Like when I played your music in the beginning, you said, wow, you're digging deep. You gotta do this. You gotta show your new people what you produced in the past, because it doesn't mean, like, for me, it doesn't mean what you do now, what you do back in the day, you know, those were, back in the day you did amazing music, you suck now and all that bullshit, you know. It's just the generation change, you know. Every generation got you different in your mind, you know. And I think it's sometimes when I tell my team, I want to bring up my first album and my old songs, but that's old. I'm like, so what?
100%. 100%. I think people, you know, especially with the Fortnite thing, I played like some old records. I was playing like Pawn the Floor in there, and kids were like, whoa, what is this? People asked me, like, I was like, yeah, it's our song from like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's hard just to cut through these days because kids, we're in like a meme culture. We're in like a TikTok culture, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to understand it and play it how you want to play it, you know? Sitting back and complaining about, like, how do I reach people, and, like, what am I streaming for, whatever it is, that's the old way of thinking.
Oh, yeah.
You know, thinking about what I can do to actually get heard, and implementing those things is what is important for young producers and DJs.
I don't even think like that. I'm on the dance floor every weekend. I am young.
Yeah.
I am like whoever is in front of me, I am exactly the same. So I don't even look backwards, because in the back you have the oldies. There in the front, I need those youngsters who give me the amazing energy. I love that.
Yeah. And the minute you don't love music and you force it, it's obvious. And I think if you love music, keep doing it. If you don't, honestly, a lot of people I know that make music, they also deal with like mental health problems, and like even slightly, but I know that it affects them. And I think that it's important, if you don't love what you do, maybe move on, you know what I'm saying? Maybe do something different, you know? I think if you love it, it should make you happy. It should make you really happy if you love music.
This is it. We said it before. Another question. A lot of people don't know that you are deep in my scene, in my world. You know, you play in Miami. What's the name of the party you're playing in? Get Lost.
Get Lost. Yeah.
Get Lost. You did a track with Blondish. You digging deep with everybody. It's not only hip hop or. And who's your favorite artist right now? Like not big artists. I want to hear from you, a young talent. My world.
In your world, I know I've been obsessed with the guys from Berlin, the Klein music guys, and their style is really popular the last year. But when I see them DJ like Rampa and Me and Adam Quart, I'm just like blown away by their selection. You know what I'm saying? Just like you, like people can go to your party and they're gonna hear some local dice hits. They're gonna hear some like proper bangers, but you're always gonna dig deep. I remember you were playing Toast, like a house mix of that. And I remember some Carnage sent it to me. He's like, "What's he doing, bro? What's he doing?" I'm like, "Bro, he's a good DJ. Like, you know, you gotta be fearless. Even that's like not even it's not even risky what you did, but like I think people were like, you know, it's a vocal or something. So.
They didn't even know what it is. Most
of the people. It's a new record
people
for them.
Asking me, who is this? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. It was harder for me when I played some Bad Bunny vocals, and they made me. You play reggaeton now? I'm like, I wish I didn't. I played just a vocal.
You know, I think it's like that's what you got to always push the envelope, man. You know, sometimes you can go too far, and with house music, I have to be very careful too because I don't want to alienate anybody because you know they're giving me a chance to play in those venues. Like Damien, of course. Since day one, he was always a fan of mine and me for him because we used to work together.
You cut right now. Who was that?
With Damien Lazarus, you know, like
Damien, yeah.
From day one, he, you know, I remember I saw him at in Tulum 2 years ago, and I said, I got his number on DM, and I WhatsApped him to ask him something, and I had his number still, and I was like, what the fuck? And I remember I saved his number as like Damien DJ guy, because 10 years ago we used to work together at Switch's house. Solid Groove. So I've been in like the house scene like in and out for a long time. Like I used to DJ at Fabric and I was always like the outsider there, but I knew the scene and I knew the DJs and I knew the guys who were doing great stuff. And you know, Damien just gave me a chance to play his party and he was like, you know, you did a great job and killed it. I was playing with Tiga, who was a good friend of mine for years. And I'm just like I just want to be careful that I just respect the scene and play music and just help people that are in that world, you know, by playing their records and having them on my station on XM radio. But I just love house. For me, it's the most exciting thing happening now with music because that deep house scene and that tech house scene and like, you know, Afro house, those guys are making a real community right now that I know the fans, I see it when I go to these parties and I'm seeing like the people really, really live and die at the culture. And I love that.
Oh,
no. I don't see that in other things. Like you said, in South America, I remember I was going to Puerto Rico all the time for big parties and playing reggaeton records. And then people would be like, hey, want to go to the after party? I was like, cool. And it'd be like Bedouin playing, and it'd be bigger than a fucking reggaeton party. Like in Puerto Rico, there was more people going to deep house parties than reggaeton. So I was like, man, this shit it's switched up on its head already. Like
because they hear it every day, they need something new.
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. Who was the bravest house DJ back in the days who got slaughtered for a second album after his big hit?
Talking about like, I gotta hear you playing it.
No, Armand Van Helden.
Oh, of course. I mean, I wouldn't even be making house music if it wasn't for Armand Van Helden. I mean, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't his positive attitude. Of course, I didn't even know house music. You know, I knew his records and I played them. I didn't know what house music was then. Like you said, you just like knew his music.
That was the music you had in your crate, and you didn't know it is house music.
It was the New York scene. It just was like the sound of New York, and we played those records. And of course, I lived in Philly at the time, and Baltimore club and Philly club. You know, we had a really interesting take on house music. It was like ghetto style with like a lot of break beats and kicks and samples, and we always threw Armin stuffs in there like Flowers. We sampled a bit of that record, and I didn't know it was house. I didn't know what it was, but it was those records were getting played, and I always thought, since I've been growing up, I was like, damn, he's been there since day one. Like he's still crushing it with A-Track and Duck Sauce and putting out. I played one of his records last night. The new one was
so free
Michael
now. He's so free now. He doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when You Don't Know Me came out and everybody was going crazy. And don't forget, you a hip hop head, so you remember the 88 records when he did
100%.
Batman Scoop, Crooklyn Clan. He did all these mashups on this record. And then I remember he brought the album Enter the Meat Market. That was a full hip hop album. The people hated him.
But he was a hip hop guy. He was a hip hop DJ. You know, he was versatile. I think that at the end of the day, like, back then it was a lot easier to make those genres and like make those rules where like, oh, I do this, I do that. You couldn't do both. And now you can, because kids like learning about it by themselves by just exploring music, exploring the internet. But when you grew up, someone had to take you to a party and give you like the culture, and you had to jump into it and be part of it. Now people live, and it's okay to be diverse. It's okay to be diverse. You have to have the history, and you know, a good DJ knows the history and knows how to introduce new things in a special way, and have to be, you know,
for sure.
It's got to be a rhythm to the party and the rhythm to like what you do. And Armin's always been like, he's fearless, but yeah, purist, of course. You know, fuck a purist. You know, if he makes good music, he makes good music. And Armin was like one of the sickest hip hop producers back in the day. It was ABA. I mean, Spread Love, all those shit he was like number one.
All his stuff and even the new stuff. It's like he did just lately something new. I don't remember the name. Amazing disco, filter, French housey stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing. My brother, what else is coming up from you now? I mean, after you conquered Fortnite, are you getting an avatar at PS4 FIFA?
Yeah, I wish. I hit the NBA 2K guys for an avatar. I was like, man, make me one of those guys. And
the Clippers are not playing, bro.
Bro, I don't know what's going to happen with basketball, but you know what? These fucking players, they don't give a shit about championships anymore. They're just getting paid, and I love them. And I wouldn't go play either, you know, because they can get hurt. And what are you doing it for? You're not, you know. But if it was like back in the 80s, they would play in these empty arenas and do TV. They would just keep playing right now. But, you know, these guys, they don't give a shit. They're getting paid regardless. They're getting paid not to play. So they're like, all right, cool. And the Clippers are going to crush. The Clippers are crushing, bro. Man.
What is next coming up? Is there new music, or is there any projects?
I mean, I started a house label at Mad Decent called Higher Ground. We've been putting out some great stuff like The Jaded and Kyle Watson, and of course I just did a record called On My Mind, that Purple Disco Machine remix, and I got a record with Paul Wolford and some awesome guys, and just kind of like trying to do something in America, because there's not that many new house labels in America. Everything comes from Europe, and it's always been like that, but I just wanted to put something in the American scene. So I've been doing a lot of house records and producing for other people.
You got a lot of good house producers from the States, bro.
You do, and there wasn't a lot, you know, even back in the day.
Not far away from you, Harvard Bass just dropped an album. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah, I think there's so many young guys too that are coming up that really know the world and know this. You know, they know the history and they're doing crazy shit. They've got an Amtrak from Miami that I love. You know, Danny Day is one of my favorite DJs in the world.
Of course, Danny.
So sick, bro, from day one. You know, another guy, I was watching him yesterday, Rich Medina, bro. Still love this guy from Philly. If I didn't have him in my life, he was one of my first, like, you know, mentors. He used to, like, let me go into his club, Fluid, you know, and, like, he was playing, like, the Afro beat. You know, guys like him, Stretch Armstrong and Bobito Garcia, like, those guys are fucking beasts. Yeah, but I'm just doing house music, but I kind of slowed down on releasing the house music now because, like, I think, you know, it's going to be really slow for it, because if you don't club and you don't drive, you're not going to hear a lot of house music. So I kind of put it off for a couple months till we know what the rest of the world's like. So I just kind of been
house music. You just showed your record, like, and you spoke about Kraftwerk. I hope I inspired you after this interview to go back and dig some little bit into some sounds.
I might make some breakbeat though. Actually, you know, I've been listening to a lot of breakbeat and like electro beat stuff. I'm like, damn, no one's doing that anymore. You know, I might go back in there and do some more. Might get some breakbeats in there.
My brother, thank you so much for being a guest on my show. Thank you for this whole inspirational talk. And hopefully you're not so busy and reply sometimes when I have an question.
Yes, sir. Anything you need, bro. I'm always there for you, bro.
Always.
Legend.
Enjoy your day. Right. Much love, my brother.
See you soon, bro.
Peace. Here he is. So, thank you very much. That was Diplo. Really cool guy. Amazing producer, amazing DJ as well, and he's huge in his selection. Of course, he does some music that is not my world, but if you dig deep, you will find some crazy stuff that he done in the past, and he's still doing now. And yeah, let's wait for more. Thank you very much for passing by and watching. 3 is the magic number. Next week's guest will be, I don't tell you now. You got to find out. And we will spice it up from Sunday to Sunday. I hope you like everything. I hope you, if you want to see my live stream that I did, when was it? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Oh, it seems like a long time ago. The Believe in Me record release party with all my friends on Zoom. We are thinking to do this maybe again. If you want another live stream, let's do it again. Love you all. I wish you all an amazing, amazing week. And we keep in touch. As you know. Thank you very much. 3 is the magic number. Love you all. Peace.